Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance now, before we open our meeting. We'll just, so if everybody will stand, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, it's 10 o'clock somewhere. The first item on the agenda would be thank you for that laugh there, Barnell. I appreciate that. Consider the approval of the minutes of the November 14th meeting.
I move approval of the minutes of November 14, 2013.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you for doing such a good job of reviewing those, Mr. Murphy.
It's a pleasure. Megan's doing a great job, and occasionally we touch them up just a little.
Well, thank you, and thank you to Megan. Next item on the agenda is to consider a register of claims totaling $746,506.18.
I read the claim, and I would move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Under old business, we have no old business. Under new business, we have a bid opening for a 25-yard, 33-yard knuckleberry boom trash truck, and this is the sanitation director, Phil Reagan, will present this.
Morning, gentlemen. We received
Morning.
3 bid packets, all 3 from Best Equipment. The first one's for the 33-yard automated garbage truck. And the total bid price is $358,417. We did list several trade-in possibilities. Do you want to know those numbers, or there's 1, 2, 3, 4? There's $35,000 for the.
We don't need those, Phil.
Okay.
Okay. I do know that the county is interested in buying one of our trucks. I don't know if it's under that classification, so I'll let the board know that we're looking at, besides the trade, working with other government agencies to sell trucks if they need them.
Well, being as these are for CNG fueled trucks, something totally new. We did put in our bid packet that we can keep our trade-ins up to 90 days to make sure that our timelines all gel and everything comes out.
Great idea.
Yeah, Bill, I should wait to the end, but you really have done a great job on this, so thank you. Doing all the options and financing, and so really spent a lot of time, so good job.
The second one is for the 25-yard rear load garbage truck. And the total bid price is $235,628.
Okay.
And the third one will be the knuckle boom clamshell truck for tree limbs, bulk items, and things like that. The total bid price is $229,712.
So we just got one bid for each truck?
One bid for each.
Okay. What company bid on
Best Equipment out of Indianapolis.
on all of them?
On all of them.
Okay.
They're one bid.
We can still decide that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead. We just had a sidebar here for a second.
Well, I'd say we take them under advisement, let legal counsel look at them and
Make sure it meets all the specs.
make sure it meets the
Sure.
specs and award them from there.
I move we take these bids under advisement for action at our next meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Phil, if you got a minute, Mike, do you want to comment on the reason for these trucks and what's going on a little bit? I mean, I think this is such a big thing. I really like to just take a few minutes here and let everybody know what's happening here.
Well, like I said at the groundbreaking that Nikki put together, in order to pay for something with fuel savings, you got to save the fuel.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is building this compressed natural gas loading station and having our fleet ready to utilize that natural gas on day one from the time we open the station. So we're going to take the savings from the diesel fuel that you would normally put in those trucks at $3.50 a gallon or whatever, and fill and replace that with purchasing natural gas in the market for, a third of that. So that's how we pay for our gas station. And the trucks, we're monetizing the purchase of a vehicle every year over and putting that money up front, that Bill's idea. So that's how we were able to get our fleet ready to go. So yeah, Phil, you guys have had some fun, Darnell and Phil, chasing things around, going looking at trash trucks and figuring out how CNG works. And we've been on this probably first of the year.
About all year.
First of the year, you guys have been working on that. So we did have one request though as a board. We're going to ask our sanitation department to name each new truck and put a name on the side. So we don't know what that'll be and how we'll get maybe a public contest or something.
What an honor to get your name on one of these trash trucks.
No, but good job.
All right, thank you.
It is a good job, and just to further the discussion for a few more moments, the sanitary district has always been very interested in going green. We've supported many efforts over the years for the community, helped pay for green roofs through our stormwater or our recycling program. We started to recycle curbside recycling, and which we didn't have before. And so, you'll see us at fairs and giving out water and everything else to promote recycling and green. And this is a huge step for the sanitary district to continue those efforts to make this earth a little bit better place for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And I'm probably getting close to our great-great-grandchildren. Yeah. So anyway, we're really proud of this, and these trucks, this station, as Mike has said, and Steve, is going to be for the entire community at some point in time. Probably the first other users, hopefully, will be government, other governments, and at a huge discount to save the taxpayers a lot of dollars. We're hoping that this situation with the Muncie School District, with the school buses, that this will enable them to somehow maybe do some additional busing if they can don't get their what do they call it, a variance
Waiver, yeah.
Waiver. So anyway, we're looking for this to not just affect the sanitary district, and then eventually we're looking at opening this to the public, that if you were to buy a green car of this nature, then you would be able to use our station. Mr. Klein and Phil and Nikki have really headed this thing up and really have done a great job of putting all this, and I see Debbie working the numbers there. So anyway, I'm really proud of the district on this whole project. So thanks for...
One more. So when we're done, we'll have 8 new CNG-driven trash vehicles and 4 converted. So that would be 12 total? Correct. Weren't there 12 reindeer or something like that? Forget about the name thing. Forget that. We'll cover that later.
There were 7 dwarfs, but we don't know about reindeer.
Well, we're getting informed here this morning about everything, so that's good. All right. Thanks for your indulgence, and as we bragged a little bit about the district, but I do think all our people deserve it. The next on the agenda is to change order number 2, project WC 2012-2, and this is for the outfall interceptor rehabilitation. And John Anderson, you're going to make the presentation. John's our district engineer.
Morning. Change order number 2 for the principal outfall interceptor rehabilitation project covers 5 items. One being an in the field issue with a manhole that had a lot of concrete poured around it. Changed the conditions, a lot of more work to get that concrete out of there. A couple issues with the railroad. One, CSX Railroad requested on the CIPP rehabilitation method on this project needed to have a thicker CIPP liner, that it takes care of one of the costs on there. Another item with the railroad, we have changed from CIPP to going to a gunite for doing that portion of the project, which actually takes ended up a savings on that portion of the project. Couple other items on the additions. One is we are doing some cleaning work downstream of where this project ends in order to, at the siphon where the principal outfall goes underneath White River in Beech Grove Cemetery. That pay for that cost of doing cleaning and also doing some video and or sonar work to check the condition of the siphons themselves. And then the largest portion of this is when there is some additional work or footage we are adding to the project that was left out of the project based on initial budgeted cost and estimated cost. Those came in a lot lower than it was expected, so now at the end of the job, there's money left over. We are adding this additional footage at the price that was line itemed in the bid. And so that was the large portion of this change order, was adding that 700 foot of additional pipe to be lined or to be rehabbed with the gunite portion. So.
Very good, John. Board members, Mike, do you want to address this?
Yeah,
Since you're
I
also an
think,
engineer.
We received very competitive bids on this project. We had a contingency for all of our projects put aside in the bond money. And we've added the biggest piece of this, correct? We've went again in this other large brick sewer that goes into the PO sewer. And I keep forgetting the name of that development, Bill, down there.
I keep calling, yeah, go ahead.
Millennium Place.
Millennium Place that serves that area, so an older sewer in need of it. This, there was some pretty good engineering done by the city of Muncie in the 1880s. And you'd be surprised to know that most of the downtown area from this area, instead of the stormwater and the sanitary sewage going into the White River, they reversed the flow, went uphill by 10 feet to the railroad tracks on just south of the railroad tracks where the PO sewer is. And they built this sewer, it's an odd shape. It's a couple feet wide on the bottom, then a little wider in the middle, then about 6 feet high. And they did that because that's the shape of a person that could lay the brick instead of doing the hydraulic calculation on such an odd pear-shaped cross-section. So all of our sanitary and stormwater goes uphill, slope down to the railroad tracks, then this PO sewer out to around the tracks to the cemetery, out to the siphon structure of the John. So we're going to be reversing that this next year and run that stormwater down to the river again and relieving that sewer. But there was quite old 1880 something construction in this rehabilitation project, which is almost done. It was very important because all the sanitary sewage in downtown will continue to go into that sewer.
Very good, thank you. You're right, of the 275,000, the 210 was an addition, wasn't actually changes. So the majority of this bill was things that we decided to do after the fact, is it basically the way I understand it.
I want to give a shout out to Harold and John for managing the change order process effectively, so we're able to add in a big extra like this at the very end while our contractor's still here in competitive pricing. Mm-hmm. That was done by them being diligent on keeping the other extras down. So.
I'll second that motion. So
I'll move approval of change order number 2 for the Outfall Interceptor Rehabilitation Project.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Good job, John. Good job, Harold. Next is we have some changes in the personnel policy handbook, and Nancy Grisby, it says administration here. Does that say administrator?
What's my name?
Nikki Grisby.
Said Nancy.
Did I say Nancy?
He did say Nancy, didn't he? Well, at least you remembered it this time.
Well,
The
you know,
last time
it's
you
only
did
been
that-
16 years, 17 years. I mean, you know, you can't expect me to remember everything.
That's true.
I really called you Nancy this morning.
You did, yeah. I am asking the board to consider a change in the personnel handbook regarding part-time employees. In the past, part-time employees have not been required to have a CDL. We would like for the current part-time employees to be grandfathered in, but the future part-time employees, we would ask that they be required to have a CDL.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else there?
I move approval of the change
I
in
don't want to get
personnel.
into a whole lot of specific details because it is a personnel handbook and federal guidelines. I don't want to get into too many details, but you guys do have the handbook at your disposal.
Okay, the only other major thing, I believe, is that we've taken off the limitations on how long somebody can work part-time. And I'll just cover that real quickly. When I managed the King store, Woolworth stores, some of our best employees were part-time weekend employees. And we found that we have some really good part-time people that, and the policy book that actually was put in effect last time I was aboard was at the end of 6 months, they had to be dismissed no matter how good they were. And we found that we were letting some good people go because of that handbook, and so we've changed that.
So people
with
might
this.
want to stay on as
If
part-time.
they want to. It's still, you're still part-time, or as you know, if they're not doing the job, we can terminate them at any point in time. So nothing changes as far as our ability to, you know, especially with part-timers. That's the two major changes in this thing. So I just want to cover that other one, okay? Any questions from the board?
No, I'll move it. We'll accept the recommendation of Nikki on the handbook.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Nancy.
Nancy's still up.
Oh, Nancy's still up. Nancy, okay, next is the Mulberry Street property / levy, and Nikki Grisby will take this one.
Should I turn around and come back?
No, that's good.
You're all familiar with the work the Army Corps of Engineers instructed us to do at the beginning of the year. This is one more piece. The first piece was the trees. This property on the levee that their claim is impeding the levee is the next portion. Pursuant to code 14272-1, purchase of real property gives us the authority to obtain this property with Army Corps. So I'm asking that you allow us to obtain that property, make the necessary adjustments that we need to do for Army Corps and the structure of the levee. Otherwise, there's about 3,000 people along the levee that would have to pay flood insurance as part of this.
So we've been able to work out a deal with the person that's living in that house at this point in time.
Yes.
And the owner of the house in order to vacate his lease and to buy and to sell the property.
Yes.
And this is absolutely necessary to do this based
Very
on
specific.
the Army Corps of Engineers.
Because it's built into the levee.
It's
Yes,
actually
it's
built into the
built
levee.
And they're very
Okay.
specific that this has to be done.
And so are you asking for authority to proceed even to the extent of eminent domain if necessary?
We have an agreement all in place.
Oh, we do, so we
We
don't
have-
need to do that?
No, we just need
Just need
to,
the permission to
Need the okay
acquire.
for-
yes, we just need a permission to acquire. Do you have the address by chance here with you? And I reviewed these and you asked me and I didn't ask for that, so I'm sorry.
906 Mulberry.
Thank you. Okay.
Move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Nick.
Still here.
I just crossed you off. Interlocal agreement with Muncie Sanitary District in the city, Muncie Parks Department for use of vehicles.
The recycling train that Steve Staten had put together for us several years ago, the city is willing to take that on so that we have considerations at all the future events. They will maintain, manage, own the train from this point forward, and the sanitary district will have considerations.
And this is your recommendation, we accept this?
My recommendation.
And since, you know, your heart is in recycling, this must be a
Absolutely.
good thing, it's be my only comment to this. So basically, they're going to own this now at this point
They will
forth?
own it after you sign and give the okay. They will own the train. They will take it to all the special events. It will still be a recycling train, but it will have more visibility with the park department than it's currently getting with the sanitary district.
It must be so if you say it, because I'm just telling you, Nikki, with recycling, it's her baby, you don't hurt her baby of recycling.
I'll move we approve the interlocal agreement with the city.
before we approve, this is one I had actually drafted, but I think Nikki has changed, because I didn't realize you were going to transfer the ownership.
Yes.
And my only concern is that I want to define what consideration means, that in other words, we're going to have the opportunity to use that
Absolutely.
vehicle.
They will maintain they're responsible for the insurance.
Right.
The,
Ownership, maintenance, et cetera, but they'll let us use it if we need to use it.
yes.
Okay, it's not real clear to me what consideration means there.
Well, I think what Nikki had said to me was that by them taking the manpower to go to all these different events, and that we didn't have to pay to go to these events, that would be the consideration, is that they would take over the salaries of showing this.
Well, the other
I don't
concern,
know if that, legally, if that suffices or not.
well, the other concern I have was I thought this was going to be a loan situation, so I added a clause about termination upon 60 days. So that doesn't make a lot of sense that we would, if we're going to transfer ownership, that we could cancel that.
Right.
At 60.
Right.
So we may want to
We want
modify
them
that.
to own the train.
Yeah, should we modify this and bring them to the next meeting, Steve?
Let me fix it.
Okay.
If it's not urgent. Is it
Can
urgent?
Can he change it and you give the approval based on his recommendation to move this forward?
All I'm going to do, let me make an amendment to the motion.
Yes.
Certainly.
That we approve this interlocal agreement as amended to define the fact that MSD would have rights to use the vehicle for special events, and that the termination clause would be removed.
I'll accept that amendment.
Thank you.
And I'll second the motion.
And all in
As
favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
I'm done now.
Thanks, Nick. No idea what I'm going to call you, Debbie. Appropriation of funds, and this would be Debbie Irving, our financial manager. And let me comment this, we have another meeting, but I'll make it now. This has been a hectic year for finance manager. We've done bonds, we've moved money from one department to the other, and it was all for good reasons to get a lot of work done. But, so I think I think we've done more of this year as far as changes and things that we've accomplished than I think in the 12 years I was here before. And I think we accomplished a lot before, but this has been a really amazing year. If you take a look at all the projects we've taken on, from the natural gas to the levy, I could go on and bore everybody, but a lot of stuff. So Debbie, good job.
Thank you. Today, I'd like to ask for additional appropriation. You just spoke about the Army Corps as far as the purchase of property. I would need to have additional appropriation in stormwater of $150,000 in 617-89-444-197, and that's for purchase of property. I would also ask for additional appropriation also in stormwater of $6,520 in 617-89-413-065 for unemployment. I've just asked that you would verbally approve this, please.
Move approval of the appropriation of funds as requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Debbie. This is not additional money this is money we have that we're moving from one account to another. At this time, public comments. I see our representative from the League of Ladies Voters are here. Did you get notice that we canceled our meeting this morning? Okay.
He does a wonderful job of letting me know.
Okay, very good. I want to make sure. They didn't show up early and not to be there. Okay, we have another meeting, so we won't wish everybody happy holidays till next time, okay? So with no public comments out there, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Wait a
Oh,
minute,
I'm sorry.
There's one.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead there.
I'm sorry, that's what I thought we signed a sheet for. but-
And that was all my mistake here, all right? So just please state your name and your address, and we'll go from there.
Okay, my name's Michael L. Anderson. I have a property at 2923 South Franklin here in Muncie.
3 Rambling?
2923 South Franklin.
Franklin, thank you.
I've owned that property for 39 years. It's been a rental. I've had a little problem this year. I've had a busted water line underground. I've paid till September of this year $1,212.16 in sewage bills. I repaired this defect, but before I got it repaired, I got another $439 bill. And so I come in to ask for some help with it, and they said, well, once you prove the water company that it was running on the ground, it wasn't running in the sewers and everything, that will reduce the bill. Well, I come in and they only took $169 out of the $400 bill, and I felt like I've already paid 3 or 4 times this year
Yeah.
in sewage bills
Sure.
than what I should have paid. And this, if it was going into sewers, I feel a little different, but it wasn't.
I think your numbers are pretty obvious that this needs to be reviewed again, and I'll personally review this. So if you'll stay around for a few minutes, and so we can make arrangements give me time to review your bill.
Okay, I've got everything here.
Okay, and we'll,
Yeah, I didn't know where to go or what to do.
No, that's
I
fine.
faithfully paid my bill for 39 years,
absolutely,
and I need a little help here.
We'll absolutely get with you, and I feel confident anybody has a $400 bill, there's some problem there that you didn't put that down the sewer. So let's see what's going on here, and we'll be
Okay.
happy to do
Thank
that.
you,
So
sir.
just, okay, thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, now we'll close the meeting. Thank you, everybody.